It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Memphis Tigers Associate Head Women's Basketball Coach, Coach Tennille Adams. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you
Good.
talk about how you knew that you wanted to get into college women basketball coaching?
You know what? It's interesting because right after I graduated, I wasn't sure that's what I wanted to do. I'd gotten my degree in English, um, but I didn't know if I wanted to be a teacher necessarily. So right after graduation, I went back home to East Chicago, Indiana, and worked a couple of different jobs. And my last job before I got into coaching, I was a sales manager at the Radisson Hotel in Fayetteville, Arkansas, back where I played. And I'm just in there and I'm like, you know what? I have a lot to give back. You know, my experiences as a college player, I think will lend themselves useful, to the young women that were coming up. And I wanted to be something different. I know my track was kind of up and down as a college player. And I knew that there were a lot of college players that were kind of going through what I went through. And I wanted to be there to kind of get them through those times. So someone that was there that really understood what it was like to be a starter and an all-star player, and someone who knew what it meant to come off the bench and everything that kind of went in that and all of those feelings that go into that. And so that's when I knew I wanted to coach. And I had a wonderful opportunity. Coach Trina Tillis, who was a coach of mine at the University of Arkansas when I played, was the head coach at a junior college, Tyler Junior College. And she goes, "Hey, I hear you want to get into coaching." I said, "Yeah, coach, I'm thinking about it seriously." She goes, "Well, I got a friend has an opening at Jacksonville, which is another junior college there in Jacksonville, Texas. She's got an opening. If you want to go, go talk to her a little bit and see how it goes." And ever since then, I've been coaching.
What was your collegiate career like at Arkansas?
I tell you what, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the ups and downs of it. My junior year, we went to the Final Four. My senior year, we won the WNIT Championship. So my last 2 years ended on a very high note. And what's interesting is we talk to players about this all the time, and Trina and I talk about this. You really have to give yourself that 2 years to figure yourself out over that 4-year period, right? So you come in, you're this great high school player, then you come to college and you're not the best player on the floor anymore. And what does that look like? How does that feel? And trying to make all of those adjustments. And so it took me a couple of years to figure it out, but I'm glad that I stuck with it. I had a great coach, and Coach Gary Blair, and he held me accountable, and he loved on me when he needed to, and he kicked my butt when he needed to. And I'm forever thankful for him for doing that. And but I enjoyed it, and we're winning a bunch of football games right now. So it's a great time to be a Razorback. Um, but it was a really great career for me as a
What,
player.
what was it like putting on the Razorback jersey and obviously playing it in the SEC?
You know, you don't really realize how important it is until after you graduate. I think my dad had a better handle on it for me coming out of high school. He says, "Hey, go play some SEC basketball. It's the best women's conference in the country." And at that time, that was around 95. And that's when Tennessee was at its height, Georgia. You had Florida, some of the other programs, Auburn, during that time. So I come into this heavy program as this young kid. And Arkansas, they call it hog heaven. We're the only show in the state. And so you go to that university, and everyone's wool pig suey. There's a lot of pride there at that university. But one of the things I didn't really realize until after I graduated was that our women's athletics department was self-sustaining and we were separate from men's athletics, right? So when you hear a lot of times where talk about Title IX, we talk about equity, we talk about equality in women's sports. I reflect back on my career and Trina and I talk about this too. I didn't feel like I had any of those issues. I felt like we had our own strength and conditioning, we had our own tutors, we had our own, academic advising, we had our own athletic director, Bev Lewis, who's a wonderful person. And so for me, you're like, oh my God, Arkansas, we were top notch that way. So a lot of pride, a lot of pride putting on that jersey every day and going out and representing the University of Arkansas.
What was your experience like getting into college athletics coaching and first, obviously, coaching at Arts State?
I'm sorry, where?
At Wright State.
I'm sorry. So interesting story. I've known Trina forever, it feels like, but at least, 18 plus years. She gets the head job at Wright State. And at the time I'm at Ball State. And she actually helps me get that job at Ball State. Her then boss and my boss at the time were best friends, really good friends. And he needed an assistant coach and I was available. So she gets the job and she calls me and she says, hey, T, want you to come to Wright State. And I was sick about it because I couldn't come at the time. I was just finishing up my first year with Ball State and Brady. And I didn't want to leave them, because I pride myself on staying somewhere for a while. I don't like to hop around. So after that first year, I was sick because I knew I wanted to work with her. Didn't know if that opportunity was going to present itself again, right? Sometimes you only got one shot to get it right. And so, I got really lucky. After year 3 for her, she had 2 more openings, I believe. And it was the right time. And she called me again. I said, absolutely. And that was a lot of fun for me. Learned a lot. Actually, my first year there was the first time I'd ever been to an NCAA tournament as an assistant coach. And I've been coaching a long time. So when you talk about the stars aligning and making the right decision, that was definitely the right decision for me.
What was it like when you got your first opportunity at Harvard to obviously be the head coach?
Yeah, so Howard University, you want to talk about a completely different experience. So Howard is considered the Mecca, right, of historically Black colleges in Washington, D.C. So when I was at North Carolina A&T, I'd had my first taste and experience of historically Black colleges. And, I just really felt that sense of pride that you have with those institutions. And so to be able to lead Howard was an awesome honor. I was nervous. It was my first head coaching experience. I learned a lot about myself. I realized that I can coach. You realize how hard it is to be a head coach, right? As an assistant, you're always, when I get my job, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Why can I get my coach to do this? He doesn't listen. And I promise when I get my job, I'm going to do all these things. And so then you get the job and you're like, okay, what did I say I wanted to do again? You know what I mean? And you just, you have a moment of, okay, you take a deep breath, you gain your composure and you go out there and you try to lead and coach and do the best that you can. But I think it gave me an overall appreciation of being a head coach, what it means to be a leader, what it means to lead other people, and the responsibility that you have, not only for your players, but your staff, your support staff, and all of those that, work for your women's basketball program.
Of course, when you were at Howard as the head coach, what were some of the things that you built, like the culture wise, to help you grow that growth with them?
I'll tell you what, one of the best learning experience I had, because my time there was short-lived. I think if I could do it all over again, and it's interesting that you bring up culture, I don't know if I understood how important that was at the time. I was just leaving Northwestern University and I wanted to prove that I knew how to run the Princeton offense. I wanted to prove that I was a great X and O coach and didn't really understand the value of, This is your first year. Let's build a great culture. Let's build the buy-in. Let's get these kids on the same page with you. And that being way more important than getting out there and running some drills and getting prepared for a game. So I think one of the biggest takeaways for me was how important that culture is and how important taking the time to get to know your team, to get that buy-in, to get your staff on the same page with you. And none of that has anything to do with basketball. That's just about spending time and having some understanding and getting to know all those that are involved with you.
What was it like going to North Carolina A&T?
That was my first assistant coaching job in Division I basketball, right? So I was at Jacksonville Junior College for a year and had the opportunity to go work for Patricia Cage Bibbs, who, if you look her up, is an amazing coach, has had an amazing career. I was at Grambling State University and like had them, they were beating top 25 universities at the time. So that was a great opportunity for me. Coach Bibbs is a wonderful leader. She's a tough lady. And she taught me a lot during my time there as an assistant coach and what it looked like to work, what it looked like to use the resources that you had and make the best of it, and just to serve. So North Carolina A&T was forever holds true to me and has a strong place in my heart.
What was it like whenever you got to join the Memphis coaching staff?
I was thrilled and I was really excited. A lot of things had to fall in line. I knew Trina was interviewing for that job, and I knew that if she got it, that I wanted to come with her. And so when she asked me to come, it was a no-brainer, for me. And actually just our staff as well, it was important. Trina, and she'll tell you this, like she wanted her entire staff to come. And so I felt the same way. I wanted Abby Jump to come. I wanted Ashley Barlow to come. I wanted Devin Reed to come. I wanted Kim to come, Kim Demings, because we knew what we had. We knew we had this synergy as a staff, right? And it's like, okay, we got to keep the band together and the band's got to go on the road, and everybody's got to go. So the fact that pretty much everyone that came, for me as well, I was really excited because everybody has their strengths. And we knew that all of us together, we could do something really special at Memphis.
What was it like to obviously go back to the SEC to coach in the SEC after coming off of playing in the SEC?
Well, I haven't been back there yet. Now, I'll tell you what, it was fun to beat an SEC team at Wright State during the NCAA tournament. As an underdog, that was something pretty special, right? Because you think of the SEC as this powerhouse conference, and particularly in women's basketball. So for us to be able to go out there and get an upset in the first round against Arkansas was pretty exciting.
What are some of the things that you have accomplished so far whenever you came to Memphis?
I tell you what was number one for Trina and for our staff was to get to know our team, right? And to really wrap our arms around our players. That was 1A and 1B. And so for me, that's been my biggest accomplishment. I coached the 5 players. So being able to build that rapport with my position players, being able to build a rapport with the rest of the team where, the girls come up and they'll give you a hug, right? What's going on, Coach T? How you doing? I love it when one of the players will come by and just sit and talk with me for a little bit. I haven't known these kids very long at all. So in this short period of time to be able to develop those connections with our kids, that's the biggest accomplishment. The next is, I think I found one of the best barbecue joints in the city. So that's another big accomplishment for me too.
What is it going to be like to obviously play in the conference and play East Carolina this year?
It's going to be great. I think we have a lot of unfinished business as a team. East Carolina has a great team. I know that staff over there, and they do a great job. So I think that that's going to be a battle, and we're excited about it.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you have helped build for Memphis?
Yeah. Again, like I stated earlier, one thing you'll know about Trina is that it's always about the players. We're going to get to the basketball piece of it. We're going to talk X's and O's. We're going to make sure we get the right players in the right spots at the right times. But for us, it's about loving on these kids and making sure that these kids are okay. And that's what we're doing. That's part of our culture and trying to build that. Um, you know, Ubuntu is a term that Trina has had since I've been working with her. And it means I am who I am because of who we all are. And, we take a lot of pride in that. And a lot of what we do is based on that. So we know that we're nothing without each other. I'm not who I am without the rest of our staff. We're not who we are without our team, right? So it takes all of us to be successful. So that's how we try to go about our business every day. And just meeting these players where they are, meeting our girls where they are and giving them what they need when they need it, right? Not every kid comes from a situation where they need to be hugged on or they need that type of attention, but they always need something. Sometimes they just want to get in the gym. Sometimes they just want to talk basketball. Sometimes they just want to go out to eat. So it's understanding what the players need and giving them that so that they feel good, that they're confident in themselves. For us, it's about creating a space where they can be vulnerable, and be themselves and be authentic. And we think that that's what has worked for us in the past.
Of course, with us coming off of this COVID year that we just had, what are some of the things that your team is looking to, of course, accomplish after COVID in this year?
Yeah, I think when you look at last year, there were a lot of games that we didn't get to play. So it's being able to play a full season. It's going to be about having everybody healthy and trying to be in sync this year with a healthy team that can play a full season. So that's something that we're really looking forward to and getting out there and competing. Like I say, we have some unfinished business. And so I think COVID for a lot of teams, if you think about the impact that it had on several programs last year, where teams weren't able to fully compete, where they were going to games and they didn't have their entire team. And I think that's where we were very fortunate and blessed last year at Wright State, is that Trina did a great job of keeping our girls together. We were blessed that we didn't have COVID didn't impact us the way that it did certain teams, and it gave us a chance to play and it gave us a chance to win.
What is the recruitment process like for prospective student athletes going on the official visit?
I tell you what, it's a lot of fun. I wish I was a student athlete right now so I can go through the process again. But we have 48 hours to bring them up and kind of show them around campus. So what we usually do is they come in at some point on Friday. And if it's Friday evening, we go out and we'd have some dinner, spend some time with the family, the recruit. They'll have a hostess or a host rather, and that person is there with us. And that Friday is really about just talking at the dinner table, right? And just having some conversations and being able to answer any of the questions that evening that the parents may have. And we talk about, their travel up and what they're excited about over the weekend. On Saturday is when we really get into the nuts and bolts of things. And if they haven't been on campus already, then we do a campus tour. We take them around campus, we show them the facilities. We'll get them in front of our academic advisor. We'll get them with whomever the liaison or the advisor is, depending on what they want to major in. So we'll get them, they're interested in business. We'll get them over in the School of Business and have them speak with someone over there. We like to get them in front of our AD. We have our head coach here has been amazing. So if there's a practice, depending if there's a practice built in, he may stop by and have a conversation with one of our recruits. The great thing about Memphis is we have a football team that's been doing fantastic. So we may tailgate a little bit on Saturday. We'll go over to coach's house, have some wings or some barbecue, walk over to the football game. There, most of our team is there. Player have an opportunity to spend some time over in the student section where it may get a little unruly at times and kind of enjoy that atmosphere. Um, from there, they may have a little bit of downtime on that Saturday. We get together, go to dinner. A lot of times we'll have a team function. One weekend we did paint with a twist, right? So we were able to reserve a room for our entire team, and we went in there and we painted, and the music was going on, and it was a great vibe and a great time that way. I know I had a lot of fun. And at that time, after that's over with, that evening, she'll have some time to go hang out with our team and get to know them that way. And we spent a lot of times with the parent that evening and just kind of talking about some things and then still getting to know Trina, getting to know our staff. Sunday, we have breakfast. We kind of tease the kid a little bit about the night before and ask if she stayed up too late, some things like that, if she enjoyed our team. And we'll go and we'll walk around Beale Street a little bit. We'll walk around downtown. We may hop on a trolley and go from the north side of downtown to the south side of downtown and kind of wrap it up after that.
Of course, do they get to look at the jerseys and try on the jerseys to make sure?
They
Obviously,
do.
they
I'm so sorry. How do I forget that? That's the most important part. We do a photo shoot on Saturday. So absolutely, they have a chance to dress up. They put on a uniform. Their parents will have on a Memphis sweatshirt or something like that. And we'll take a ton of pictures for them that way. And they usually look really, really good in blue.
Of course, as a coach, what is it like to see those recruits obviously put on that blue uniform and feel that they feel at home in that uniform?
Mhm. Yeah, that's the whole goal. You want them to feel good in it. You want them to see themselves in it. Clearly, we see them in it because by that time, Trina has offered them a scholarship. And we feel like that's a player that could come in and be a huge impact for our team. So when we see them put it on, we start envisioning what they can do for our team, the way that they can help our team, the way they're going to blend in with our squad. So we get pretty excited at that point.
What advice would you give future college women's basketball players looking to play college basketball?
I say just continue to work at your craft, you know, don't get comfortable with it. I also say keep all of your options open, don't get discouraged if there's a level that you want to play at and you may not get recruited to that level. And I ultimately say the most important thing is go where you're wanted, and the schools that want you will make you aware of that early and often. So again, I just say stay dedicated to it. Trust the process. There are going to be days where you're not going to want to do it. You're going to be tired. But those are the days where you get better and you get yourself up and you keep working at your craft.
What advice would you give players looking to get into college coaching and even other people looking to get into college coaching?
Yeah, great question. I think if you're a player, I think you should make your coaches aware of it early. And I think when you do that, I know Trina, we do a great job of, hey, come on, sit over here on the sideline with us. Come on, take a look at this play, or we'll have some basketball conversations that way. Jumping, and Trina did a really good job last year or the year before that. We've had some kids that wanted to get into coaching. Abby has done a great job with So You Want to Be a Coach, and had an opportunity to help one of our players enter into that. And that's something the WBCA does every year. So when we know those things and when players let us know that, then we try to get the ball rolling for them early that way. Their grad assistant opportunities. Trina's very big on that. She brings her players back. We have two that are grad assistants for us now that played for her at Wright State. And those kids will have an opportunity to really learn under us and learn under Trina and kind of figure out the ins and out of coaching. For anybody else that wants to be a coach, it's a journey, and it's a marathon. So I wouldn't be discouraged. If you're not where you want to be at this point, I say do it for the love. I say do it because you love coaching these players and impacting these players every day. And it'll be very fulfilling for you.
That's wonderful advice. Where can my listeners find, obviously, the Memphis women's basketball program at and you at on social media?
Ooh, I am at Coach T_Adams, and that's on all the social media outlets. And for our women's basketball program, it's Memphis WBB, at Memphis Women's WBB.
Thank you again, Coach T, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Memphis Tigers women's basketball.
All right, thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach T, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.